Hello.
Hello. Oh, you're muted.
Hello.
We go.
Hi,
Hello. Got
everyone.
you now.
How do
I'm
you pronounce your name? Marcin or Marcin?
Martin.
Martin.
Marcin. Ah, nice.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm first time here, so I just wanted to introduce, say a few words. I meditate for a few years, but a
Mm,
year and a half ago, so I came across some Harris
mm,
materials and Angelo and others, and I thought, okay, let's give it a try.
yeah.
Uh, when I meditate and inquiry, what I get is that okay, I look at what exactly is me, what exactly is that in my brain, in my mind. I can see that it in a way deconstructs.
Hmm.
Like, okay, there's some surface from which thoughts bubble up.
Yep.
I'm probably not I'm only the captain on this ship, but there must be a crew under the deck that generates them. Uh, there's visual field,
Hmm.
there's auditory field, okay, and there's like more enigmatic for me, like I don't know, audience space in the theater that watches
Mm.
everything. Uh, but I must say, I never had any experience of like being more than just that. There's a bunch of elements processing what this body perceives,
Hmm.
which I would love to.
Yeah.
Uh, and I thought, okay, everything I was doing was like based on YouTube,
Hmm.
books, but I didn't use any like support group, any conversation, any guide. So I looked what is available. I had like your YouTube channel among things I watch. So I thought, why not to try to show up here?
Oh, thank you for
That's
that.
why I came.
That's wonderful. So I have a couple questions from what you just said. The first is looking for the glimpse or having the experience of somehow being more than the sum of the parts, so to speak. Can you say more about what the expectation or the hope is around that?
Yeah, but I keep like remembering that what Angela was repeating, that the whatever you just expect is something different. So
Yep.
I try not to assume anything, but
Good tactic.
uh, but and okay, let me say it this way. I perceive what is around me.
Hmm.
I presume you folks exist and you have similar perception.
Yep.
Is there a common denominator of those two? Is there like, are we separate or are we connected? Is the only connection this physical world we observe, that apparently, yeah, it influences.
Yeah.
I can hear you, can hear me.
Yeah.
It's
But is there anything more like unifying?
it's funny because replying that question, we would answer it differently depending on where you are in the awakening curriculum. If you do the awakening curriculum and you start in the first fetter, where we work with the identification with the self, I am here, I am my gender, I'm my name, my education, I'm part of a country I live in, all of that identification that we have. If we were to reply that question when you're working with the first fetter, we would give you one answer. When you work with the second fetter, and it's more about the identification with the feeling and the emotions that you have, we would give
Just
you a
start at the
completely
first letter.
we would give you completely different reply. So it's a difficult question to say to reply to,
I,
because we would like to reply you in a way that is actually beneficial and helpful. Us just saying the ultimate is not helpful.
well, and I think what would be maybe helpful is to consider, are you asking the question
Yeah.
from a place of um, intellectual curiosity and or kind of a longing for a deeper sense of meaning and connection? Or is it coming from a place of looking for a particular experience to happen?
I think for me, the motivation is the purpose of existence.
Mm-hmm.
Like what else there is we are for? Like
Yeah.
that's what drives me, at least in
Yeah,
in,
Yeah.
and that
in
question is
this
what.
practice.
Yeah, that's what question. That question is what brings a lot of people to this path. Ironically, it's one that you may find that you get an answer to or not, or that the answer might very much not be what you expected it to. But the key is to recognize that what people are when people do these practices and they have experiences of unity, universal oneness, non-duality, this getting rid of the subject object, experience, all of that is experiential. You can have an experience from meditation, inquiry, psychedelics, or just spontaneous. Some people just have these spontaneous states, with no preparation. We don't know why, but it happens. You might have one of these experiences, but then the mind has to go on afterwards and create a sense of meaning about it. So I think the short answer there is that if it's striving from like an intellectual curiosity, the intellect will always need to be engaged in order to create that certainty, even after an experience. The intellect can also create all sorts of philosophies which can understand how we're all connected on different levels, either being subatomic or on the environmental ecosystem scale or above. And the intellect can get that without ever having the direct experience that feels like we're connected. It's just sort of scientific and logical. From what I hear from you is that you're really looking for more the experience of having something that convinces you, at least in a visceral experiential sense, that there is something more than just the collection of parts of experience.
Yes, in a way, experiencing it. I hope to. I don't know what it could be or will be,
Yeah.
but I hope for something that, like, I'm not religious,
Yep.
and I'm not looking for things to believe in.
No.
Yeah.
It's it's definitely here.
Yeah.
You're in the right
You're in the right
place.
place.
Because we're dismantling beliefs all the time, because a belief is always cluttering the pure experience and the pure arising in this moment. So what I would recommend you to look into is that in anything you do, standing up after the meeting, going out to make a cup of tea, or going to the bathroom, or doing the dishes, or driving your car, in anything you do, notice the difference there is between what is actually happening and what you think is happening. Because what you think is happening is where we live the majority of our lives. But it's not reality. It's just what you think is happening, is what the brain is perceiving and think is perceiving with the information that it has available. And that is created into a meaning, and it's in that little post-it that we live our lives. But that is not reality. That is just created in your mind by your mind. There is an arising happening that we're not aware of, and waking up to that difference is giving you a space and a freedom in your experiences that you might not have beforehand. And I think that is what, when people talk about awakening, I think that is what is happening, that they become aware of something is what I think is, and nothing is what actually is arising, and those two are not the same. The next level is that you also become aware that whatever is arising right now is not real either, because you can only perceive that with the limited senses that you have. So the ultimate is that we have no idea what you're looking for and what you're seeking or what you would like a reply to. We have no idea what it is. I can only tell, nudge you in a direction where you have your own experiences with the difference between what you think is happening, what is actually happening. And then the next question would be, how do you know that is true? Mm. And that is where you're sitting completely perplexed because you don't. Mm. You're still only in your own experiences of it. So even when you get to the point where you're not thinking about what is happening, but you're just noticing the arising, even that can be questioned because who is noticing it? Mm-hmm. It is the compilation of everything that you call you that is experiencing that. But if I was sitting next to you and experiencing exactly the same thing, the experience would be different because my causes and conditions are different, which means that we don't know what actually is arising, if anything.
True. Yeah, thank you very much. Awesome. And I must also say that I love, like, by accident, the exercises that you advise to others. Like, they seem awesome. Like, with this.
Excellent.
I love that.
I would also suggest, so there were two things I just wanted to chime in with too. I would recommend checking out all of the sixth Fetter videos on the Awakening curriculum and the Unfettered Mindfulness channels, because there's a lot of exercises and inquiries and talks about exactly that aspect of the non-duality that you're looking to experience directly. There are a lot of ways to point to it, which, for different people at the right time, you can very much have that kind of visceral felt experience of the feeling of separation breaking down and having all that.
Do you advise me, like, to jump on the sixth?
Yeah,
because curriculum and just swallowed everything in the first.
Well, we treat we treat the whole Awakening curriculum like a wheel as opposed to being a linear thing. So it's helpful to get used to investigating all of the different fetters all throughout the day. Everything is available all the time because they are all the way that we experience the world. They're basically the filters that all of us have filtering our experience or creating illusions out of our experience. So if you are geared to particularly wanting to investigate or experience that side of things, try some of them. Some may be more or less effective depending on, what other attachments and things are happening, but you might find that it's pointing you in a direction. Also, when you do later fetter stuff like sixth fetter and eighth fetter, it can actually help to release some of the identifications of the earlier fetters that might still be hanging on. So it's not linear. You never know exactly what is going to speak to you when. So trust that. But the other thing is too, pointing back more in the first fetter side of things. You were very clear about all the different parts of experience that you were kind of taking apart. But the one that was the most interesting to me is that audience space, as you mentioned it, about being sort of the audience in that Cartesian theater, where it seems to be the awareness of something. And that's the one that I would be more curious for you to dive into directly. Where is that space happening? That internal audience that is viewing what is going on. Where is that theater? Where is that supposed audience? And in which of your sense fields, in which of the senses, either the external five or the internal five, is that auditorium or the audience being sensed?
Yes, like auditorium set the auditorium senses that was on the scene, and I'm not even like 100% sure I'm alone on the auditorium.
That's interesting. So is it just a part of the visual field where it seems like because you're seeing a world and because the world as we see it seems to be appearing kind of out there, that it feels like I am kind of on this side of the screen in the auditorium viewing everything? Is that part of your experience of it?
No, not even if I close my eyes, then just with the sound with sound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who observes it? Like
Mm-hmm.
who perceives it?
Exactly.
Yep.
And
It,
I
it
feel like
it's
there's some dark spot of space
Yeah.
where I sit and watch it.
and that's the one that
Yeah.
that both of us really want for you to be curious about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, that you kind of like that captain on the ship, and there's
Yep.
we're questioning the ship. We're also questioning the captain.
Um,
So it's both that we would encourage you to look into. Yeah, go on.
yeah. No, it's so it's especially those are the really tricky ones because we can have, like we talked with Marcus about, having that sense of there's kind of an assumption of an eye which connects all of these different sensory fields together. But it's the ones that are really elusive, like that it kind of feels like a dark figure or space or something back there. It's appearing, it has to be appearing in one of your five internal or external senses. We can't really experience anything that isn't. So that sense of a dark figure in an auditorium, or who's viewing everything or hearing everything, has to be made up of parts of your sensory information. And those can be sussed out with enough attention on them. So, like we were talking to Marcus about, he is just starting to recognize, because of the aphantasia, that maybe there is some internal bodily image, mapping of the body that shows up. That can be part of it. But notice also if there's, okay, let's just so this is kind of on the sixth fetter side of things. There's this odd part of our experience which is potentially really potent for people to recognize. When you're looking out of your eyes right now, it looks, and it's easier without glasses on because glasses create extra more of a boundary, but we get the impression that I'm seeing kind of an oval of a world, maybe 220, 270 degrees, something like that, however wide our peripheral vision is. But the whole thing seems to be existing out there, and behind it, there's an implication that there's just darkness back there, that everything outside of the field of vision is darkness, that behind my head seems to be black, right? But it's not.
Maybe somebody can come put up a temporary thing, even just in case there's more rain.
Oh,
Oh,
I think
I don't know who's talking.
uh, could mute yourself, whoever that was. Sorry about that. If you actually notice what's behind you, it's not darkness and it's not black. It's just the absence of the visual field. It's an assumption based on, I see something there, I don't see something here. So the mind is basically implying or assuming that there is this darkness where there isn't one. There's an idea that there must be something because I see something there, so there must be the absence of it, or the opposite pole of that behind me. That is a false creation that creates duality. There is no actual light and dark. There is just the visual field, completely appearing with no borders, no boundaries, no darkness other than it. That exact same assumption or implication is what is happening with that sense of a self. There's an idea that you see a world, so there must be someone seeing it. You hear sounds, there must be someone hearing it. You feel sensations, there must be someone feeling those sensations. And the mind posits this opposite of those, as though there must be an opposite to the visual field and to the sense field of the body and to the auditory field. It is an assumption which you can, it's subtle, but looking into what is here, which is not the visual field. What is here which is not the physical sense field? What is here which is not the auditory field? There's an implication that there is something opposite from it, but is there? The one who is seeing is an implication, an assumption that there is something other than everything that exists in the totality of its existence as the raw sensory experience that we have, that makes up our world.
After all, they're just parts.
Yeah. And keep looking around it. Even if we see it, even if we know it, even if we get it, keep coming around to find out, is there really anything separate from any of those parts?
Thank you so much. I don't
Thank
would like
you.
Thank you.
to hijack more time. Let's give some space for others.
It's
Thank
okay.
you so
It's
much.
been lovely. Thank you
for-
so much for being here.
We have created a course of our first Fetter material. This course will walk you step by step through all of the ways in which identification is created and selfing happens. If you've been struggling to see through the self-structure or have that first awakening shift, this course contains hundreds of tools to help you discover the selfing mechanisms when they're happening, and then see through the illusion of identification that are created. Along with over 14 hours of videos, this $49 course contains a full book worth of summaries, extrapolations on the videos, written inquiry suggestions, and other text. So work slowly, leave time for integration. This is powerful material and it can be life-changing.